Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning here in downtown Jamaica, Queens. As you know, here on the Pace Report, I profile and interview musicians that make Black American music great and who are carrying the backbone of making this music move forward to the next generation. And tonight here on the Pace Report, I'm proud to interview a gentleman who's really been on the cusp of playing and backing some of the most important heavyweights, including the great Virelles Sanders, Ravi Coltrane, the great Roy Hargrove, as well as Dr. Lonnie Smith. And I'm talking about drummer Johnathan Blake. Now, Johnathan Blake hails from Philadelphia, and the last 20 years, this gentleman, as a leader, has been very prolific amongst his peers, as well as he's bringing the whole generation of Black American music forward by bringing younger musicians in the cusp of his ensemble. He has an album on Blue Note Records entitled Homeward Bound, which you guys really need to check out. And it does feature some of the young stalwarts that are moving this music forward. And I'm including guys like Immanuel Wilkins, as well as the great Joe Ross on vibraphone. Tonight here at the Jamaica Center for the Arts and Learning, you're going to see highlights of his Trion trio. We're going to sit down and we're going to reflect on the musical past that he has definitely brought to the game as far as him being a music leader as well as playing with the great heavyweights of this music. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Mr. Johnathan Blake and his Trion trio live here at the Jamaica Center for the Arts and Learning here on the Pace Report here in Jamaica, Queens. just so happy to be here. So proud of this big feat for you. Your debut for Blue Note Records. The world is getting ready to see you in a very different light on a bigger scale now. How does that feel?
Oh man, that's definitely hoping I can live up to the hype. No, but it feels good. You know, it's you know, we never get into this field for accolades, but you know, we get into because we love the music, and the music just kind of encapsulates us and puts us in a trance. So we you know, that's why we get into it. But you know, when other people do recognize what we do, it does feel amazing. It feels great. So I'm definitely really thankful for Don Was and everybody at the Blue Note family for you know, taking a liking to what the music I'm creating and the band and presenting. So it's definitely a blessing, man. I can't believe it. I'm happy about it, though.
You got some heavyweights on that band stage. You got Dana and you got Dezron. And explain to my viewers what this trio is about.
Trion was a trio that originally started with myself, Linda O, and Chris Potter. And we were doing gigs around town. And mainly at the Jazz Gallery, we kind of presented actually as a collaborative first called Bach for Blake, O, and Potter. And then I got approached by Jimmy Katz, who started, a great photographer who started a label called Giant Step Arts. And he was like, man, I really want to, you know, shine light on you as a composer, not just as a sideman, but as a leader. So I took that, you know, that, I guess I would say that, you know, you know, the thing that he presented to me, I guess, and I said, oh, let me try to write some music for this trio. And
it's a big leap of faith for you.
It was. You know, I had done like some quartet stuff and some quintet stuff, but you know, I took that opportunity to say, okay, let me write some music that's really specifically for geared for trio, and then also Linda and also Chris contributed a couple tunes. So it was beautiful, and it kind of just turned into this thing. You know, I love having the freedom of playing cordless with you know, without any guitar or piano, because it kind of just frees up some space and you start to hear different things. So for me, it was just an amazing experience to play with some musicians of that caliber. So fast forward to now, it's, you know, I have a bunch of music that I still have for that trio, and it's always great to play with people you're familiar with. So,
right.
Dezron and I have been playing for a better part of a decade together. Robert Coltrane's group, and we played with Kenny Garrett together. Our first gig together was with Kenny Garrett's quartet. Excuse me. So, so we have a deep connection, and we've been, you know, through highs and lows together. So it's always a joy to share the stage with him. Dana and I have known each other probably close to 20 years now too.
Wow.
And you know, funny story about Dana. I met him at where was that? It was a jazz festival in Europe, I think it was. What was it? Dang, not North Sea. It was something like that, like a big festival like that, North Sea or something like that. And it was at a jam session. He was playing bass, so I thought he was a bass player. And then it was only a couple years later when he moved into my neighborhood, and I was like, oh, you actually play tenor, because he was killing on bass. And on top of that, when he sat in, he was playing bass. So the bass player was set up as a lefty. He was a left-handed bass player, so but he still played the mess out of the, you know, whatever tune we were doing. So fast forward when I got to play with him, and he was playing tenor, and you know, and just all different sections. I just fell in love with his sound, with his, you know, his creativity on the instrument. Yeah, we've been doing some trio stuff together over the last few years, and it's been a blast. You know, like he always surprises me with something. So I love going on that journey with him, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I always know it's going to be cool. So yeah, I love it.
Johnathan, on this record, you've got some heavyweights on this album. You've got Joel Ross.
Oh yeah.
And he's blowing up right now.
Yeah, he's a monster, man.
And you got Immanuel Wilkins on this record too. As a band leader, we're gonna go into your accolades with the musicians you've accompanied over the last 20, 25 years. But as a band leader, what is it that you are trying to present musically, and what are some of the things that you look for from musicians when you put them in your ensemble?
Well, I think, you know, trust is the main thing, and also you want to be, you know, you want to find cats that you can get along with off the bandstand too, because if you're traveling and you're traveling with people that are a drag, the tour is going to feel super long. But if it's cats that you can get along with off the bandstand, it makes it all that better. You know, cats you like hanging with. So for me, it's like I'm looking, you know, when I'm looking to put a band together, I'm looking for cats that I can gel with on and off the bandstand. Also looking for cats that are going to take what's on the page and just run with it. You know, take liberties with the music. You know, I view music as a blueprint. When people putting, you know, music in front of me, it's like, okay, I see what they have written, but what am I going to put to it that's going to, you know, my own stamp and my own sound. So what I look for is people that have that creativity too, who can you know, really take what's on the page and go somewhere else with it. And those guys in the band, Joel and Immanuel, Virelles on piano, and Dezron, they all do that. You know, they have big imaginations, and for me, that's what this music is about. It's about creative, you know, being creative, spontaneous on the spot.
Is it easier being your own man, leading the band, or is it easier for you to play the role of accompanying someone like, you know, the great late Dr. Lonnie Smith or Kenny Barron?
I mean, both roles are easy to me. I mean, you know, I think with, you know, as a sideman, yes, you're at the mercy of the band leaders, but when you have band leaders that trust what you do behind the instrument, it makes my job easier. You know, like Dr. Lonnie never really said much. It was just like, let's get on there and groove. So I think that's what also comes into play when you're picking musicians. You have to know what they're capable of. You have to know what they can do, and take it and run with it. You know, I think, you know, like you know, one thing that I learned when I first joined Kenny Barron's band was like, I don't want you to play like Ben Riley. If, you know, I can call Ben Riley if you know what I mean. So it's like,
right.
What are you going to bring to the stage that you know, that makes you you? So for me, that's what I try to do when I'm putting a band together. It's like, I don't need you to sound like, I want you to sound like yourself. And even if you're don't have your own sound yet, it's going to get there by us playing together. So,
I mean, 15 years. That's,
yeah.
And you know, and then another thing too, another sidebar. Y'all from Philadelphia, so y'all like thinking, y'all thinking the thing.
There's always a vibe there. You know, there's always a vibe there, and that's the same with, excuse me, with myself and Immanuel. I've known him since he was a young kid, so there's there's that connection there. So
did you know 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, when he was playing, that he was going to be where he's at right now?
I had an inkling. I mean, he was hungry, and he's still hungry for the music, but he was, you know, it was this never-ending process of searching. Like he always was checking out different types of stuff, and he was always trying to grow. He wasn't comfortable just being, you know, set and where he was. He was always like, let me grow from this, and he continues to do that. And that's why he's, you know, that's why he's where he is now, because he's continuing to search and learn and not be stagnant. He wants to continue to grow, and he had that bug, so to speak, very early on. You know,
it's crazy you say that, because I spoke to, it's about 3 or 4 months ago. You know, during COVID, I checked up on the elders, you know, just to see how they were doing. But another one of your Philadelphia natives, Odin Pope, told me about Immanuel. He said, "Man, you better check this cat out." And he's the truth. He's the truth.
Yeah, no, he's ridiculous with it. And every time I hear him, he's taking it somewhere else, and it's just like he's going up another level. I'm just like, man, you know, it's amazing. And it's funny because now he's been playing in a group with Kenny Barron now, and that was kind of one of the things that I was hoping that would happen, because, you know, I think one of the things about this music that we forget is so important is mentorship, and learning from the people who were on the front lines of creating this music. So I was really hoping that that he would be able to hook up with Kenny, and it was only later on that I found out that, and Immanuel told me this himself. He told me one of the main reasons I wanted to move to New York was actually to search and play with Kenny Barron. So I'm hoping that there's some more things in the works coming down. We were supposed to play at the Vanguard with Immanuel, and also with Steve Nelson.
COVID killed that.
Yeah, COVID killed that. So we did 1 week with Kenny's another quintet that we've been doing for some time with Dana Stevens and Mike Rodriguez, Kiyoshi, myself. The second week was going to premiere this new quintet with Steve Nelson and Immanuel playing with the trio. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll come about in the near future.
Right.
We tried to do it last year too, or I guess that would be 2020. We tried to do it And basically when we were doing live streams, they would only allow 4 people on the stage at a time. So we had to do one night with Steve Nelson and then the next night with Immanuel. So we're hoping that at some point that we'll be able to do that, put that quintet together. But I think it's just important to be able, especially as a youngster, I can call him that because he's 20 years my junior. I think it's important for these younger generations of musicians to come and search the elders who are still with us. We lost Barry Harris, and we've lost a lot of them, but there's still some here that I feel is so important because that's the only way we learn how to move forward. You have to know where it came from, and then you can move forward from that. So I give it up to Immanuel because he's one of the cats that
keeping it moving.
Yes, keeping it moving. Yeah. He knows the importance of mentorship, and that actually comes from our roots in Philadelphia. One of the main cats who's still there, who's teaching, his name is Lovett Hines, and he started a program called the Clef Club Youth Ensemble, and everybody came out of there, from Christian McBride, Joey DeFrancesco, Orrin Evans, myself, Jaleel Shaw. We all came out of there, and Immanuel came out of that program too. And so, one of the things that was big was, learning about the history, learning about where this music came from, and about mentorship. So, I'm glad that, people like Kenny are taking an active interest in kind of mentoring people like
Thank you.
Now, there's some very interesting things. I researched you all week, man. And I'm putting one and two together. You originally started off a violin, but your dad made you do something I thought was very interesting before he allowed you to pursue the drums. Tell my viewers what he did.
He told me the prerequisite for me to play the drums was I had to learn about the piano. And I had to learn about harmony and chords and melody. And you know, I think as a kid, like there's some pushback, but but in the long run, when I look back on it, it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because he knew the importance of being a complete musician, and he didn't want me just to be a musician that that played drums. He wanted me to learn about everything, learn about harmony, learn about melody, learn about chord progressions, learn about movement, harmonic movement, and all that stuff. So the only way to do that is to learn about the piano. So he signed me up for piano lessons, and he was like, if you stick with this, then you can start playing drums. So,
what does your father mean to you now that you are full throttle into what you were called to do, your purpose, which is to play music and to lead and to compose? What does he mean to you now that he's been gone for a minute?
I feel like even though he's gone, he still walks beside me. I can still hear his voice and giving me pointers, and he just means everything to me, man. He was, it means so much when you have somebody that's supportive of what you do, but at the same time doesn't push it on you. Like, he never forced myself or I have two younger sisters, but instead he guided us and mentored us. And once he saw that I was actively interested in this music and playing this music, he was right there. So
you were kind of indoctrinated. I mean, because your father played with the legendary McCoy Tyner as well as Grover Washington Jr. So you were bit by him when you were very young.
Yeah, music was a big part of our life, and I was going to shows probably when I was still in my mom's stomach. And then when I was born, he had just joined Grover's band, and Grover was really big on family, having a family travel with the band. So 1 or 2 years old, I was going to shows, checking out the music. So yeah, I got bit pretty early, but at the same time, it was a thing where it's like, I'm not going to force this on you, and it was like, but if you like it, you gotta learn everything about it. You can't just halfway do it. If this is something that you're into, you gotta learn all the aspects about it. There's no shortcuts. So as a kid, I think when you're really into something, like with me being super into drums, you're gonna do whatever it takes to get what you want, right? So he said, you gotta take piano. It's like, all right, I don't want to, but I'm gonna take piano because the end result is me being able to play the instrument that I want to play. So, the benefits is great. I'm able to compose. I compose at the piano mainly. So, so all those lessons he taught me early on have really helped me become a more complete musician.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live at the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning here in Jamaica, Queens, New York. I'd like to personally thank the talented Johnathan Blake for his time. Make sure you support his current Blue Note Records release, Homeward Bound, which is now available on iTunes, Amazon.com, and CD Baby. And for more upcoming events regarding his upcoming club dates and tours, visit him online at jonathanblake.com, as well as Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. As always, people, I can't stress more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments on my YouTube and Vimeo page, as well as visit my website, thepacereport.com, for my weekly column, as well as my past segments. Before I cut out, I'd like to personally thank the staff and management here at the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning for their warm hospitality. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.
Thank you.